Hello lovely people, thank you for watching this video. My name is Roelle. I am a health and nutrition coach and I post these weekly short videos to motivate you to be as healthy as you want to be. I hope you all had a wonderful week and a good weekend. The weather was really nice here in the UK and I really enjoyed it. I spent it with some good friends in Kent. Right, today I would like to talk a little bit about stress eating, and of course that topic is way bigger than I can cover in a short video, but I do have a few tips on how you can start to try to control stress eating, because obviously it's not helpful because the type of food that you will eat when you're stressed tends to be junk food. And as the level of your stress hormones increase, you'll find that your appetite will increase too. And that's not you being stupid, but that is also a little bit to do with hormones. And to ease that stress, we look for food that comforts us, and that tends to be food that's high in sugar, because then we get that dopamine fix that makes you feel good. And it works to some extent in the short term, because when you eat that food, you feel immediately, you feel better. It works very quickly, and you get the pleasure from eating that food and the dopamine. But of course, in the long run, it just makes things worse, because it has such a long-term impact on your gut bacteria, on your nervous system, and that can then really make your mental health worse. And everything is interlinked. Your gut is connected to your brain, and certain types of bacteria that you have in your gut that you will more likely get from eating junk food will actually increase your appetite for junk food. And then also what we eat can trigger the way that we feel, and then you're in some kind of vicious cycle, because then how you feel can then trigger again what you want to eat. The type of food can also have an impact on cravings, because cravings are very much hormone driven and driven by your biochemistry, and the type of food that you eat, of course, will determine the way that your hormones are balanced. So if you eat a lot of processed food, a lot of foods that are high in sugar and refined carbohydrates, then you'll find that you're not that sensitive to satiety, which means that your body doesn't really register that much when you're full, when you've had enough, and you keep craving food even though volume-wise you've had more than enough food, but you're just not feeling satisfied. And so that's a problem. So that whole correlation between digestion, mental health, well-being, cravings, understanding that a little bit will already be the start of the possibility of beating the stress eating and getting a little bit of control over that. I always find if you understand something, then it enables you to be more successful in tackling it. So I've got a couple of tips, 5 tips that you can use to see if they can reduce the times that you reach for foods to help you with stress. And the first thing I would suggest is that you check what triggers the stress, because that gives you a clue on how to tackle it. So maybe for a while, just monitor what's going on. When are you stress eating? And maybe on your phone, in your notes, because you tend to always have your phone on you. If you do it, you can do it in a notebook as well, but I don't know who carries a notebook around all the time. Do it on a note in your phone, and every time you know that you're stress eating, you're not eating because you're hungry, but you're eating because you feel stressed or anxious, then make a note of it and describe where you are, what it is that you're eating to make yourself feel better, who's with you, what time of the day is it, how are you feeling, what are you thinking, just some bullet points. And if you do that for a while, that can give you a really good insight in when this stress eating is happening, and in particular, what triggers it, what made you do it, because that gives you part of the solution, because then you know if you can avoid these triggers that you're less likely to stress eat. So once you know your triggers, maybe by doing that sort of stress eat diary, then you can try to work out whether you can eliminate these triggers or avoid them. And of course, some of them you won't be able to avoid, and you just have to manage it in a different way. But I think a good start would be to tackle the triggers that you can avoid or eliminate, and then you're on your way to start to reduce, and then leave the triggers, of course, that you can't change. And maybe the remaining 4 tips can help with that. What I would suggest is that you create kind of a management toolbox, a list of things that you know make you feel good, that make you feel happy, that make you feel fulfilled. And that could be anything. It could be a person, it could be music, it could be an activity, a hobby, it could be food, but obviously we're trying to make a list of helpful foods here, not a list of junk food. So if there are foods that you enjoy that are not detrimental to your health, then put those on the list as well. So you end up with a list of things that you can do to make yourself feel better, and then I would make a point of doing that stuff regularly, because then you start to feel a little bit better and you're less likely to want to stress eat. Now, the next suggestion is, and before actually I come to that, it is important that what you put on this list is not just stuff to make you busy, but it's got to be stuff that fulfills you, that makes you feel good. Otherwise, it's just going to work very temporarily. And then, so the next thing would be to, when it comes to the stress eating, don't forbid yourself to stress eat. Just accept that it's something that may happen and that it's okay if it happens. But come up with a strategy, something that you do, a plan B, something that you do first before you actually eat the junk food that you want to eat to feel better. So you're not disallowing yourself to stress eat, but you're going to try something else first. And what you'll find is that cravings and this sort of need for stress eating, it comes in waves. And what that means is that it will start and it will get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it will peak. And at that point, that's the hardest point to resist it. You just really, really want to eat the food that you're craving. But then it goes down again. If you would be tied up in a chair and you couldn't eat the food that you want to eat, physically you couldn't, then it would go away. It will come back again, but the more you resist it, the less strongly, I don't know, you know what I mean, it will come back. So just by imagining that can be helpful, because what you do then, you allow yourself to stress eat, but you're going to do that other thing first. And this is where the list comes in that you've just created with all the things on it that make you feel good. And then pick one from that list that is appropriate for the situation that you're in. Some of these things you may not have time to do that or the opportunity to do it at this time, but pick one that you can do. So that's why it's important when you make that list that you put stuff on there that is easily accessible. And then you do that first. And then you say to yourself, right, I am feeling really stressed. I want to eat chocolate, but I am going to do some drawing first, or something else that's on your list, whatever's on your list, for 20 minutes. 10 minutes, however long you've got. And then I ask myself, do I still want to stress eat? And so you delay the stress eating, and then you may find that the craving has peaked and it's going down again. Number 4 would be to, when you are eating your meals, so I'm not talking about the stress eating here, but when you have your regular meals, make sure that they're really nutrient dense, that you get all the nutrients that you need, that the food that you eat in your regular meals will make you feel good, but also that won't mess up your hormones and your satiety system, because the more healthily you eat in your regular meals, the better, the more sensitive you are to your satiety and hunger. So you are way more in tune with your real feelings of hunger, that is physical hunger, not emotional hunger. And that can really help. Your body doesn't have cravings because it's lacking something. It's not lacking protein, it's not lacking healthy fats, it's not lacking vitamins. And so that will really set you up well to resist cravings and stress eating if in the meals that you are having regularly, you're getting good stuff. And lastly, I would say maybe it could be helpful for you to find an accountability buddy or buddies, people who are trying to do the same thing, and you agree that you're going to support each other when you feel like stress eating. So maybe create a little WhatsApp group and say, whenever we're feeling stressed, we're going to contact each other and the other person is going to talk you out of the stress eating. And maybe just even chatting with somebody can already make you feel a little bit better and reduce that need for food. I hope you found that helpful, and let me know if you didn't, and also let me know if you did. And if you're watching on YouTube, then obviously click the like button if you did like this video, because that will help me to grow my tiny channel, and maybe even subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And if you would like some practical suggestions on why the diet that you are trying may not be giving you the results that you're after, then I'll leave a link down below that you can click on, and it will give you a free PDF with suggestions on why what you're doing may not be helpful. And you will also get a weekly email with tips for your health, with a book or a podcast recommendation, and I'll keep you informed there about any webinars that I organise. I regularly organise free webinars, and the next one is this Friday, midday, for 1 hour, and it's one of my most popular webinars about effective health goal setting. So it can be really helpful to make you more successful when it comes to making changes, and it will give you a real blueprint for a plan how to attack it and how to set effective goals. And I'll leave the details for that below this video as well. And of course it's Sunday, and what that means for me is my weekly goal setting for the coming week. I do that every Sunday, and it only takes a few minutes, but it keeps you really successful because you always have a little focus on your health, and it always keeps you in action mode. And when you're in action mode, you tend to be better all round. So this week I'm going to have at least 3 clean diet days. What that means is 3 days where I'm not going to have any unhealthy sugary snacks, which I don't really do anyway that much, but I'm going to make it super clean, super healthy for 3 days. I am normally 90% good, or say 80 to 90% good, but for 3 days this week I'm going to be 100% good, because I have been spending the weekend with my good friends, and we've been drinking quite a bit of Prosecco and eating chocolate and crisps, and so I do feel like I want to clean up a little bit. So that will be my goal this week, and I'm going to be very realistic. I'm not going to say the whole week, I'm just going to say at least 3 days. So I hope you're going to set yourself a little goal. Let me know if you need some help with that, and I'm very happy to have a chat. My contact details are on the website, and leaves me to wish you a wonderful week, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again next Sunday. Love you lots. Bye.